a video for you to show an example of how I would make dreads. You said about like 1 inch sections, so this is what I'm demonstrating. My hair is quite thinned out, so depending on how thick your hair is depends on the thickness of the dread and then how much it'll shrink up. Usually the thinner your hair, the more it'll shrink up because you'll see when I back comb. So yeah, start it with a section. My hair is kind of greasy right now, so I'm just going to use some dry shampoo. Kind of make it a little more pliable. I also have very naturally soft hair, so obviously the more coarse your hair is, the easier it's going to knot up. But yeah, so just back comb the shit out of it. You can see it gets really short and nubby. So yes, you'll end up with a big ratted mess like this. Kind of smooth it a little bit, and then this is a finger webbing technique. You take one hand like this, right against your scalp for the base, and then get your other hand in there nice and tight, and then kind of pinch it, and then just twist. So I'm kind of like holding my one hand stable and twisting in a circle with my other hand, and then keeping it tight. Allow a tiny little bit there, and then what happens is your knuckles kind of rub it against your other knuckles, and it kind of pulls it in, and then just kind of work it out. So kind of just slowly work it out, and then you'll see it pulls all the little hairs in nice and tight. Also, when you first get dreads, your hair will stick out like this. It's a great look. But yes, just kind of keep rubbing it like that, and that's how you get into a little dready shape. And the more that you do it, the more it pulls it in. I'd say probably when you're holding it, you would have like that much, and then when you rub it, it kind of like, you'll see with how my screen goes dead here, how it kind of like moves it around like that. So yes, and then I take a crochet hook. This is the only one I could find. It's a pretty big diameter. The smaller diameter, the less you're going to see like the little holes, but probably to start out with, I don't know how big this is. This is a 3mm. I think I had a 2.5 that worked really well. So what you do is you kind of rub it and you find all the little hairs, and then you just kind of twist them. So you'll see a little guys like that, and then you stick the crochet hook through the center and then wrap it around. So it'll wrap around, and then you pull it through, just kind of pull it out the other end, and then you do that over and over and over again. It takes a long time, it's tedious. When I would do maintenance on a full head, I could spend anywhere from 3.5 hours to 6 hours working on a full head of maintenance. And then creating dreads, I've spent anywhere from, oh god, probably like 4 hours to 7 hours making dreads to start with, because the better you start with, the less maintenance you're going to have to do. So you can't really see it, but where I've kind of pulled it through, it creates a little mesh pattern, because you're sticking it in, pulling it out the other side, sticking it in. Try to not do it in the same spot, obviously. If you work it around, you might get a little bit of a sewn texture, but as it kind of puffs out, it'll go away. Obviously, you're going to want to do that as close to the base as possible. So I find kind of like grabbing it, rubbing it, and then pinching the little hairs. You'll be able to kind of find little hairs that you'll want to pull in to the dread itself. Afterwards, if you want to make, you can leave your tips long and wispy. Just make sure they're nice and back combed in there. So you can leave them wispy, or if you want them nubby, you can kind of do the rip and twist method. So you twist it, and then like rip it down, and that kind of creates little knots, and then you can see where a little base would be right there, so that's where we would want the kind of nub to end. So we can do the same thing with the crochet hook. Fold it in like that. Then you can see that's where the little nub would be, and then you just keep folding it back in, back in, back in. So yes, I'm not going to do a full dread because obviously I'm not going to want one dread in the middle of my head, so I'm just going to comb it out before it gets too tight. But hopefully that gives you an idea. As you can see, my hair was about chin length and I probably lost about 2 inches. So when you're asking how much you'll probably lose, that's about it. So yes, if you have any questions, let me know.